Hello and welcome to Noni, Yanga's flagship talk show, where we discuss all the hot topics. Today we discuss whether black representation on stage is improving and whether the theatre experience is inclusive of a black audience. Joining me today, actor and male lead in Oladipo Abuleye's play, New Nigerians, Patrice Name-Banner, and screenplay writer and Noni favourite, Lola Ogunbadejo. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next time, leave the next statement for me, yeah? From New Nigerians, Saro, Waka, and even Baba Segi's Wives, award-winning African plays are finding their home firmly in British theatres, addressing issues from identity to conflict and tradition. African plays are being appreciated for their role in theatre today. So are we finally getting the recognition we deserve? Patrice, are we?
Recognition from whom?
Well, from the wider public. I would say the West, we're in the UK. Do you think they're kind of appreciating African literature, which is now moving onto the stage and theatre?
Would you like to define they?
Hey, we're going to have one of these conversations back and forth. I'm going to win. Tell me.
We are there, well, at the moment, and indeed, I would say possibly for the last 10, 12, 15 years, there has been a surge. There's been younger writers, craftsmen, playwrights, actors, dancers, and that's happening. I mean, just from my own, the last 2 years, I've played 4 African characters in 4 back-to-back African productions, or productions that allowed the African sensibility that I put forward to be accepted. So I would say that's the present vibrant situation, probably reflected right throughout.
So within these roles, is it a black audience you're playing to?
When we did The Secret Lives of Baba Segi by Lola Shoyeng, have I pronounced it right?
I think so, better than me.
we sold out at the Akola Theatre completely. They had to put an extra day on. It ended up being the highest grossing play that theatre has ever had, from Chekhov audience, Shakespeare's audiences. And we had new audiences. We had a lot of African audiences, but also cosmopolitan audiences, because, you know, you have people traveling to Africa, and we had English audiences, and but it was packed.
And it was packed with the they that I was talking about.
Well, that's why I said the they. Who is the they? I like to know where I'm starting
I can see you like to perform. I'm the performer today.
Well, okay,
Lola,
yes,
let me ask you, how powerful and effective is, you know, African storytelling on a British theatre stage?
I'm telling you, it's extremely powerful. I remember in 2008, I went to the Arcola Theatre and I saw a play by Femi Oguns, who I believe is the founder of Identity Drama School. You know, the likes of John Boyega has come from there, Letitia Wright, and he wrote this play called Torn, and it was about a Nigerian boy, British Nigerian boy, who was dating a British Jamaican girl and the struggles that they were facing.
Romeo and Juliet, modern day.
Exactly. And it was so interesting because the crowd was multicultural, and I felt proud. I was like, this is the first time in a long time that I'm seeing a predominantly black cast in a British theatre setting. And what that did for me as someone who enjoys writing as well was just like, Lola, look, people need to hear the stories. People are interested in the stories, and they want to know more about Nigerian culture as well.
And it's not just the story, is it? It's the way the story's being told. It's theatre.
Exactly.
Experience.
Live and direct. You're seeing the action live in front of you. You're seeing the passion, you know, the theatrical performances, the drama.
The smell, the spit.
Exactly. The crying.
The sweat.
Exactly. You're seeing it all there. And I remember actually, there was one particular scene where Kelly Bryan, who used to be in Eternal, she was the one who was playing the
Eternal, God, you're going back, girl.
Back, way back. She was the one who was playing Natasha in the play called Torn, and she was crying, and there was both like snot dripping down. It was just raw.
Lola's back with the descriptions. Lola, let's leave it there. But it was a good experience for you. Patrice, New Nigerians is the new kid in town, the new play in town. Tell us about it, your experience with it, how it's been received.
New Nigerians by Adipo Agboluaje.
You got the second name right, but it's Oladipo.
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 Oladipo. And so he was commissioned by the Akola to write a play that was set in Nigeria, but the revolutionary thing about this programming was that it was programmed within the Russian Revolution season with Chekhov and Gorky. And then he, as a Nigerian playwright, was asked to write a play specifically to sit in that season. And that is revolutionary, you know, diversity programming. No other venue in the country was really talking about that. And so he wrote this great political satire. It's a three-hander, and I play Greatness, who is very idealistic and is looking to change Nigeria for the better, to have a much more equitable sharing of the wealth. And he has like a socialist background. He's also an atheist, and he has a born-again wife.
Wow.
Who is played
Sounds
by,
like modern day Britain.
Yeah, who is played by, you would all know her if you're Nigerian, Mercy Dolapo Oni.
Oh, yes,
fantastic
of course.
person,
Yeah, we're
fantastic
huge
actress.
fans of her.
And so she's in the play with also Tunde Yuba, who is also one of your kind of ancient stars,
Yes,
right?
yes. And Patrice Nembana. Come on, guys.
Right? And so he plays a billionaire jet-setting Nigerian mover and shaker. And so it's really about how do you maintain your integrity in the political landscape when you're striving for change.
Can I ask,
So that's the premise.
why do you think, Patrice, it was commissioned, and how is it? What are the audience members like?
The audience has been, in fact, it was done last January, and it was so successful that I suggested to the director, Rosamund Hutt, well, if it's so successful, let's do it again. Because the first time round, we didn't really get a very strong representation from Black or African community.
Why?
Even though, well, I think sometimes some buildings are not that up on their network into our communities. Simple as that.
Yeah,
you know, you network to what you know.
We'll talk about that later anyway.
So this time round, we managed to get funding. We came back 18 months later. We're back at the Arcola, and we have had probably 70 to 80% audiences,
Wow.
which is really, really strong.
Yeah.
And given that the press didn't really come this time, simply because they covered it the last time, it was very well received, but we're still matching or exceeding the numbers that we got the last time round.
So it's
So
getting
there's-
better and
It's getting
better.
better, and there's an appetite for our people to see themselves
I know,
and to
I
acknowledge.
need some of those VIP tickets sorted out for
Same.
me.
Done.
But
Same,
Lola, I've
same.
got to ask, Patrice
No, you are
mentioned
better than it. You can't pay.
Patrice
Amen.
You are
mentioned
true. No, you can
the surge that's going on at the
Right.
moment, the fact that he's even played 4 African roles in the past couple of years. Where is this surge coming from? 10 years ago, when you talked about your kind of first black theatre experience, it wasn't around that much. But now we mentioned Waka Saro, Baba Segi's Wives, now with New Nigerians. Where is this appetite and hunger coming from?
I think people just have better, people are receiving our stories much better. Like back then, 10 years ago, in fact, people were just sort of getting used to Nigerians being very vocal in what they're going through in the country. And now, I mean, Africa's on the map. Everybody wants to know about Africa. Everybody's interested in Africa. And I would say, especially in Nigeria, like we are a bunch of interesting people.
Oh,
and
we
I think
are.
now people are beginning to understand and embrace the theatre experience, because before it was seen as, oh, that's for like maybe an older generation or for people that have lots of cash money. But one thing that I do love about the Arcola Theatre is that the tickets are affordable, and it's just about
For you, Lola, I know how much you get paid.
some of the tickets are affordable.
Yeah.
It's like, I would say they're affordable.
No, they
So-
are.
And
They are.
They've got
Especially
their concessions.
you do. Student discounts,
the student
don't you?
discounts.
But Patrice, let me ask you, you spoke about Africa being on the map. We love saying that here. Another big nonny hashtag is Africa's trending. But Patrice, if Africa is trending, do you think there's a fear that we could fall out of trend? So you may not see these kind of plays again soon, or the
Well,
surge of them?
It's a very interesting question because I started in 1987.
Wow.
And we had ragamuffin,
born that year.
we had strong
born that
plays
year.
out then. And the questions you're asking now, we were addressing then.
Wow, okay.
So, oh yeah. And so in order to really fully appreciate what's happening now, we have to understand the what's gone on in the past. And the West, we're not very good at memory. Eurocentricity doesn't value memory. So like your age group, I mean, I'm not putting you down. I look to you guys for what's going on because I don't even own a TV. But I could tell that how many, even you guys, what do you know of what happened in 10 years ago? What do you know of the tracks that were laid down even 20 years ago?
So you're saying
see
there's
what
a
I'm saying? So
repetition of what's
there-
happened in the past?
I
or-
don't want to, I think I want to be positive and I want to be optimistic. I think rather than saying trending, it's like what's going on for sustainability.
Okay.
What are we doing to
Yeah.
sustain the momentum
Yeah.
and to keep it going for generations that are coming through? So someone like you who's writing, how about somebody who's 8 years younger than you who wants to get in? Can they go somewhere where there's a accessible archives as to what has happened, what amazing African
Pulling
and
a
black
ladder down
productions.
for those
yeah,
that are
exactly.
coming
So
up.
you can actually build rather than
Patrice,
reinventing
I've got
the
to
wheel.
ask,
Yeah.
and I will ask you as well, Lola, but you're from Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
Does it matter that a lot of the plays we see coming forward are Nigerian? Do you care? I know you describe yourself as a Pan-Africanist. Do you think we have to be careful about centering African stories around Nigeria, because of course there's more than that?
Of course, usually it's South African plays or Nigerian plays, right? But I see no reason why the momentum now cannot encourage other writers. Because at the end of the day, I'm sure you know Kenyans, I'm sure you know Zambians, I'm sure we all know more than one, African personality. So let's all encourage each other in this industry, especially in the diaspora.
Yes.
So if Nigerians are experiencing a big surge, reach out to a Ugandan,
help
reach
your
out
friend,
to
your neighbour, your fellow African
not?
brother or sister. Do you think that's important? Sometimes we can be too Nigerian-centric, especially in the stuff that's coming onto the stage. We need to kind of think, do you think it's important we think outside of Nigeria, because there's so much rich history on the continent?
There is definitely. I think we do need to think outside Nigeria. I just think, Nigeria tends to like to pave the way for certain things in terms of films, in terms of music, and in terms of fashion as well. But I do think we support each other. Like, for example, you're not Nigerian, but you're playing in this new Nigerian play. Like, we can encourage other actors from different countries in Africa to come and also be involved. But yet, in terms of stories, definitely we need some other talented playwrights to kind of put different experiences down
pen to paper.
Exactly.
Yeah, and get a good commission. Well, still to come, there are lots of black faces starring in the West End, including Patrice. But why are so few of us visiting? See you after the break. Welcome back to Nani. 2017 was a record year for the London Theatre box office, with take-ins pushing past a whopping £700 million, and over 15 million of us visited London theatres. The American musical Hamilton was one of the year's hottest tickets, selling out before the theatre had been renovated or a cast had been announced. But with ticket prices up to nearly £200 per seat, who's actually going to watch these shows? Is the theatre still seen as a white middle-class experience, or black middle-class experience? Let me come to you first, Lola. Is it kind of an elitist pastime?
No, I know it has been, sort of perceived to be that way, but I personally don't think it is. I know with the particular play that you mentioned, Hamilton, yes, there was this whole hoo-dee-ha about...
I've still not seen it.
I haven't seen it either. With those ticket prices, you're kind of like, okay. But people would actually pay those prices to go and see Beyonce in concert, or to go and see, so it just depends.
Yeah, but that's kind of full of white middle-class elitists as well. Let's be honest, the majority of the people that will go and see Beyonce.
Well, I mean, I have some friends who have saved up for a long time to be able to purchase tickets. So if you really want to see it, you would see it.
You should be able to.
But I don't think it is elitist, no. That's my personal opinion.
Patrice, you mentioned that you've been in theatre as old as I am. Have you seen the audience members change?
I'll let that slide.
Let it slide.
Well, the National Theatre, Royal National Theatre, they do their very best for, reaching out. The theatres have been proactively engaged by the Arts Council to really deal with diversity. But if you go to the Royal Shakespeare Company, you will find that it is white and middle class. In fact, and why not? We are in a country where there are a lot of white people.
I
At the end of the day,
I agree. It's not a race. It's not a race thing. It's more about accessibility, isn't it?
Yes, but also you have white working class people who are not going to the theatre.
You're right.
On the other hand, like I said, let's keep practical and let's keep positive. All the things that you've mentioned, the examples you've given, that is happening, and there is this spread. I mean, there are new Nigerians, a lot of young people who have been coming, and it's all different cultural backgrounds.
Why? Has there been a push into schools and colleges?
Well, the social media, for instance, is a massive, catalyst. Black Panther, you've got people like Chiwetel who, on the big screen, but they'll come and take a role at the Young Vic. So you've got this kind of cross fertility thing
Yeah,
going on.
it's inclusion,
in
isn't
fashion.
it?
Yeah, the demand is out there, clearly.
Of course, it
So-
is. I think we of course we need to support the community and all the efforts we're having to get a play like New Nigerians into London theatres. But then also as well, Laura, it's about that main stage, isn't it? It's about putting blacks at the centre in main parts. For example, earlier this year, for the first time in 50 years, the Royal Shakespeare Company gave the role of Hamlet to a black actor. Do we need more black actors and actresses being pushed to the main stage, not being in the backing choruses in kind of the jukebox plays in the theatre, but main stage present, not just in African productions?
We do, absolutely 100% we do. And one of the things that I really like about Femi Oguns, who is the founder of Identity
Shout
Drama
out to
School.
Femi Oguns
Shout
again.
out to Femi Oguns again. I hope to work with you soon, actually. Like, he's doing the most in trying to encourage the actors in the drama school to think beyond, to think above and beyond, you know,
Not
maybe...
just black roles.
Exactly,
We
not
can
just
be
black.
007. I think there was a big discussion earlier about Dreamgirls and and you, that scene.
That was good. Give us
Was that good?
Go more.
I'll keep going. We'll talk about that after. But, you know, there was a big furore because they were saying that the lead singer was going to be played by white women. And blacks were saying, no, it's not possible. It's too synonymous with a black actress and you've got to get that, you know, that rhythm out of you. But we can't have it both ways. There's got to be some things that are kind of open-minded, whether it's for blacks or for whites. You must have seen that over your year.
Yeah, over the years, but I would like to say, again, you know, Ira Aldridge, he played Othello, he played
Wow.
King Lear, and he is the most decorated classical Shakespearean actor of all time. He won over 300 awards. He was on first name basis with royalty right away across Europe. You know, he played in Madrid, in Poland,
Wow.
in Spain, in Russia. There's a statue.
Tell
of
me
him
he
in
was a
Russia.
black man.
Yes, of
I
course.
know,
He was
I
an
know he
African American.
was, yeah.
They gave him Hassel in America. He came over here and smashed it down. But like I say, we kind of keep repeating ourselves. We've already done this. Ira Aldridge, and then there's Paul Robeson, you know, who played Othello. So I think to add to the momentum, we need to understand also what has happened in the past. So we can't, you know, we're going, oh, Hamlet. But I would also like to say that we have our own African Hamlets. We have our own James Bonds.
Yeah.
We have our own masses
Yeah.
and masses of stories.
As in our own stories.
Our own stories. So
Yeah.
why can't you not have our own James Bond? We've got so many amazing stories, like from Sierra Leone.
So do you
by
think
Bure,
that's
for
too much
instance.
of an emphasis then, Lola? Do you think we emphasise too much on wanting these pro-West or kind of English,
Please
white
say yes.
accolades? Let me just bring in John Legend. He's now an EGOT. Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. And a lot of people were celebrating, and a lot were saying, so what? Why are you celebrating this? Why are we always craving? Why does it have to be, oh my God, he's the first black to do this? Why can't we just celebrate our
Thank you.
own achievements?
Thank you
Is
very
there
much.
something in that?
Well, I believe with recognition comes more opportunities, and the
Okay.
reason why we celebrate it so much, especially within the black community, is because it's very rare. It's not like it happens every single day.
John
And-
Legend was the first.
Exactly, he was the first, and it's quite sad that we have to celebrate that being in this day and age, but we have to because we need to let people know that we are talented, we are gifted, and we can do just as much as anything that you can do as well. It's just due to the fact that what we have been through as a people, you know, it's very reflective in society still today. And that's why when things like this happen, we have to say, do you know what, well done to you, because
Absolutely.
in this day and age, really, for that to have happened, there's something happening, there's a change.
There's definitely something happening.
Absolutely. If I might just add
please.
quickly, it's absolutely right. Achievement and kudos should be given where it's due. Absolutely, and you know, all of that will inspire and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, the idea that our legitimacy and visibility must come through the Eurocentric, Anglocentric frame. I think we have to really, really look at that. Look, we live in a pluriversal world. There are pluriversal frames, right? The default position of humanity is not whiteness. And I personally would not want to always be wanting to be visible. I'm already visible. I come from a continent that fed and upkept this country and the West, and we are still doing so.
Gosh.
So therefore, my starting point is not as an ethnic minority, I'm a majority.
Wow.
And I have a big, big history and an ongoing present that supports the West. So for me to continually be looking to the West to identify me and to recognize me,
Wow.
I think, well, anyway, it's just my personal
Well, no,
mindset.
it's powerful. You
It's
know,
my
you're
it's
at
my
Nonny,
personal
and
mi-
we have these kind of
it's my personal
deep
mindset.
contextual relationships, but we're also
I think
very
we can have
welcoming.
both. We can
You have
recognize
both.
that.
And be a
we should-
realist.
Yes, absolutely.
And
But-
be a realist. I want to. We're closing, and it's
Right,
been
go
such
right
a
ahead.
great discussion. But I want to ask you guys. I'm going to start with you first, Lola. But Patrice, please come in. For those, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who are watching who have never been to the theatre. What are they missing out on? What can you get from the theatre that you can't get on Netflix?
You're missing that live and direct action. In the theatre, you're forced to engage your mind in what's happening in front of you, and you can really see the beauty and the talent in some of the actors. They are phenomenal, and they pull you in to what is happening, and it's just like, wow, before
very
your
captivating,
eyes. Captivating, exactly.
Patrice, the man
Well-
of the hour.
Well, like, so for instance, in the New Nigerians, there's interactive. Where it's interactive. We talk to the audience and we skillfully find a way to involve them while the story is moving along. You'll never get that from Netflix. 2 people came from Basel to see New Nigerians.
Wow.
Two Nigerians came all the way from Basel twice this year.
It just shows-
And that's the live pull.
It just shows how
I
amazing it is, and who knew that would bring a piece of theatre into your homes today. Well, that's it from me, Juliana Olayinka, and my fantastic guests, Patrice Naimbama and Lola Ogunbadejo. Don't forget, guys, Nonny's now online. Wherever you are in the world, go to www.yangatv.com to check out every single episode. Join me next time for more Nonny Chat. Goodbye.
Hello everyone, I'm here with Juliana from Nonny, just done a fantastic interview with her, and we just want to let you know about the New Nigerians, which is going out last few days in London, but we're going to Birmingham, and we're going to Leeds, we're going to Nottingham, we're going to St Albans, and we're going to York. So please, if you're in any of those places, please go to the Arcola website
Support.
and support and come out and represent the New Nigerians. It's a play that speaks to Africans but also speaks to the political situation. Fantastic political satire. You're going to laugh and you're going to learn and you're going to meet new people and have a great experience at the theatre.
I'm going to be there.
That's right.